are Smart City Navigators, a podcast about innovation, sustainability, and new technologies on the market.
This podcast is brought to you by NaviParking. Our today's guest is Marek Stawinski. He's a system thinker, innovator, visionary leader, and serial entrepreneur with over 25 years of managerial experience in enterprise architecture for the telecom and banking industries. Leading the diverse international IT and smart city related projects, he supports open solutions and open innovation. He is the founder and CEO of NaviParking and Software House. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Marek Stawinski in our today's episode of Smart City Navigators podcast. Hello, Marek.
Hello, nice meeting you.
This is probably the very first episode of Smart City Navigators podcast. And how are you today?
I'm doing great. We are just after 2 days offsite meeting in the mountains. Maybe, my voice is a little bit, damaged because of the, temperature, the enthusiasm of the team and lots of talks. But it was great innovation time. Very nice.
Welcome to Smart City Navigators podcast, and today's topic is Smart City. I know you are a top specialist with Smart City and innovation in cities. What's your definition of Smart City?
Yes, maybe I would like to correct first that I'm a top expert in Smart City. I keep learning, but I was exposed to Smart City around 2014 when I was in US, and then I was asked if I could be a lead architect of a smart city initiative in Brazil. That's how my journey started. And I'm still learning. But regarding definition, someone defined it like what I like most is using technology to improve people's lives in city. Because, it's a very broad concept. And lots of cities declare themselves as smart cities. Like, for example, Dubai, is working on smart city initiatives. You have a number of leaders like Barcelona, for example, is very smart. Warsaw is also, starting being smart, for example, from the context of public transportation. So park and rides concept, it's very much linked to smart city concept. So smart city is about improving people's life using technology in a right way.
In a right way?
Yes.
When I speak with people and I ask them, what do you think about smart city? Many people say, is it surveillance? Is it cameras on each corner of the street?
Now, look, you can interpret or, you can misuse technology in any, I would say, context. So we should be positive because, of course, this data can be used for all kinds of purposes. But I would like to focus on the positive side of the technology. Because indeed, if you have cameras everywhere, if you do not have right policies, you would be able to, watch everyone in the city. But this is not our objective. Our objective is to use, for example, cameras to improve safety or to improve traffic, improve also like interactions with citizens, because you can recognize citizens. You can also respond very fast if something happens. So in a positive way, if you do it right, the people will be very happy.
And why parking? Why exactly trying to maneuver parking spots inside the big cities?
Now, the parking, the whole idea in my case started, it was a kind of a coincidence. It happened in Krakow, to be honest. I was there, parking my car with, I came from Holland, because most of my life I spent in Holland. So I drove to Krakow and I parked there, and it was just in the center, in the center of Krakow. And I was surprised that despite of this top location, lots of parking spots were empty. And I met earlier the owner of the parking and I asked him, what if I would maybe start promoting this parking, maybe using application. And he said, oh, that would be great because, I'm suffering indeed. People cannot find it. Indeed, it's a top location. And it's also not expensive. There was not expensive parking. So that's what came to my mind. And I started working on this. Then I started NaviParking. And then it transformed into something big, something what is relevant, what has impact. Because now parking is a very hot topic. Why? Parking, if you manage well parking resources, then suddenly you open up hidden resources to everyone. Because if you look around, even in Warsaw, there are plenty of parking spaces which are absolutely not accessible. They are not known. They are only accessible for specific group of people. With our technology, we can make them visible on the app, and we can help the owners of the parking to make money. But what is most important, we reduce the traffic, because about according to all kinds of statistics and research, like IBM said once, around 30% of the traffic jams and congestion in the city is caused by people looking for parking. So imagine that this problem is solved, then suddenly there is less pollution, less frustration, people are more happy, and So we are working on something what has an impact. Yeah.
When I was doing the research for this episode, I found very nice information, and it's a story from Colombian city called Medellin City. About 10 or 15, even 15 years ago, there was an experiment up there in this city with a machine which is picking up the cars, lifting up the cars and trying to place the cars on the right spot into 20-store building. And it was the experiment conducted in the front of a shopping center. And it was amazing for me reading that. And I was like, okay, 15 or 10 years ago in Medellin, in Colombia, there was such a big experiment. And what about Europe? What about Poland? What about Dubai?
Now, the parking is in fact getting lots of attention. Also in China, for example, in China you have this multi-level, robot-based parkings. So you drive at the one spot, and your car is carried to right level, and so on. So everything is like automated. In Dubai, for example, opposite my office in Dubai, there is a parking where you put your car on a platform, and you have to do it very precisely, because otherwise all the sensors will tell you that you have to go left or right, or you have to go back. So you have to master this well to do it in one time, and then when you leave that place, after pushing some buttons, it's locked. And then you say, voice, okay, then your car will be parked. And then indeed the platform takes your car, away, and your car is parked somewhere. The disadvantage of that is that the whole process is takes quite a lot of time, and especially when you pick up the car, because when you pick up the car, you have a card, you put the card in a machine, the car is numbered, and then on the big display you will see on which location you can expect your car, and sometimes it takes 10 minutes before you get the car back. But that solves problems with limited spaces on the parking. So you go like multi-level, you don't have to do it by yourself. So it's quite well organized. But my vision is that this technology should be combined with visibility of parking resources on the app. So when you drive, you have visibility where you can park in the most effective way, fastest, cheapest, and safest, because it's also about safety. And I think in the future, all these different technologies will be combined, but it will be driver, deciding where to park using application. Maybe later with autonomous cars, it will be done, of course, by algorithms, but the algorithm needs to have access to this parking, information, and they can use then our technology, which hopefully will be mature enough to also interact with autonomous cars.
It sounds very futuristic for myself, but I think it will be a very nice process for entire human beings, because people are really stressed trying to find a parking spot in the cities.
That's correct. And what we also heard that, for example, very often when people go to shopping mall, very often they decide not to drive by themselves because they are afraid that it takes too much time to park. For example, in Dubai, sometimes it takes 20 minutes to get your car parked. You have to first wait in a queue, and then you have to circle around to find a parking spot. So women, they don't like it, they hate it, And so if we manage to contribute to solving at least a little bit this problem, we will make everyone less stressed. That's what is also very important in delivering value to the society, and also contributing to smart city concept, because smart city is about happiness of the citizens. Yeah.
But what about air pollution? You said that people trying to look for a parking spot in the city, they generate all the time pollution. So this technology might reduce air pollution as well.
Absolutely, because you reduce time to park, you reduce traffic jams, but also what I didn't mention, you have a concept of park and rides. So park and rides very popular in Warsaw. There are a number of in top locations, outside the center of city Warsaw. You have very modern park and rides, and we can also encourage drivers to park there and take public transportation. So it's not that we advertise parking in the city centers. We help to park there, but our mission is to reduce traffic in general. So also encourage people to park outside the city center.
Do you have any other creative ideas for the future of the smart cities, instead of only parking area?
Parking in my vision is just a component of the bigger picture. I believe in a kind of ecosystem of partners, and also in a platform economy. So what we are developing a platform. And what we try to do, we try to build an ecosystem of partners. For example, in Poland, we started partnership with AutoPay. So AutoPay has an app which helps you to pay for the motorway, and in a seamless way. And together with them, we turn parking into motorways. Mm-hmm. So you go there, you park, you leave, you don't have to bother about anything. You will be charged exactly the same way how it is when you drive on a motorway. But it's one part of the whole, I would say, picture, because there are plenty of processes which are related to parking. For example, very often when you go to shopping mall, you are offered like free parking, like here in Warsaw it's very popular that if you spend 50 zloty or 100 zloty, you get 1 hour or 2 hours free parking. But to be honest, that process is so difficult. It takes you so much headache. With our solution, you can validate the ticket in a seamless way, so you can digitalize the whole process. So we make these processes which are related to parking much easier. They are digitalized, so we can also monitor them, we can improve them, and in this way we contribute to much higher efficiency in the whole smart city environment. And there will be for sure plenty of other use cases. Another one could be that you can use parking for logistics. You can solve last mile delivery problem. And now e-commerce is booming. And the big problem which e-shops are facing is delivery to customer home the goods, because there are so many orders. What you can do, you can deliver these goods to the parking, and then with our technology we can guide the customer to that parking to pick it up. Mm-hmm. That's one. You can have washing services, you can have charging services, so we can also stimulate usage of electric cars. Because behind the barrier, which we control access to, you can park, you can charge your car. And you can even make reservation of your charging station. So it is enabler, parking is enabler of lots of very interesting use cases, and I think it's just the beginning all these innovations concepts. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this project is going to finally, I think, support humanity not only for parking, but also for getting more consciousness and awareness about how city functions. Because a lot of people think about city or city centers that these areas are crowded, are pain in the ass, and this not have to be like that. Maybe even to use the space, like parking space, for people for different kind of uses, like for instance in Poland for paczkomat, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Or InPost.
Yes.
Washing machines, laundry, whatever.
The long-term, I would say, impact on this is that the master planners, the city planners, they can decide to build much less parking spaces, because with our technology we can utilize the parking capacity in much more efficient way. So like in Dubai, for example, there is a rule that if you have an apartment, you are entitled to 1 parking spot. If you have a bigger apartment, you are entitled to 2 parking spots, and that's what developers have to take into account. But with our technology, where we can apply shared parking concept, we can in fact support building much less parking spaces. So these areas which were usually planned to build big parking, they can be used for parks or maybe for other objects, buildings which can help improve people's lives. So with our technology we can repurpose the parking. So initially there will be a big demand of, regarding the parking spaces. But later, with more popular shared cars concept and autonomous cars, there will be not that much demand. So we can repurpose these parking spaces, and indeed, we can use them for, InPost, for paczkomaty, but we also team up with a company which is providing boxes where you can put your laundry. And you can leave it there. The company which provides this service pick it up, clean it, put it back. So you can, in fact, you can dynamically, in the future, you can change the way how parking actually is being used. Yeah.
I think the idea of parking, which is still in our society, is a little bit old school. People need to have smart cities just to improve themselves as well.
Absolutely, that's correct. And you have also lots of cases where people are living in districts where they have own parking spot, and then they drive and they go to work, and during the whole day that parking space is empty, and at the same time other people do drive around. So our vision is to make these parkings accessible and also allow owners of parking to make money, with these parking spots they have when they are not using them. And in this way, we improve quality of life of everyone, and we reduce at the end pollution. So we will reduce demand for parking in general. So you don't have to plan in the future that many parking spaces.
Maybe some people, they say, I don't want a parking spot. I don't want parkings at all in the cities.
Now, eventually, our goal is to reduce the parking space. And if we are successful in encouraging people to park outside the city, use, for example, promote this park and ride, this will happen. So they will be happy too. So we have to just also educate them that our role is not to promote parking in the center of the city. It's absolutely not true. Our role is to make it easier now, to reduce a pain of parking, but the long-term goal is to shift, the traffic from the city centers to outside the city and promote public transportation. Public transportation or bikes or shared bikes, any type of, you have a concept, mobility as a service, where a part of that mobility of the service concept relies on, for example, shared bikes, so or scooters or whatever. So it doesn't have to be public transportation. It is, environmental friendly, transportation means, whatever it might be, digitalized, because with our technology, we can also show that such a bike is available. So when you park, you will have confidence that if you park, then maybe a few meters further, there is a bike waiting for you. So you don't have to be stressed. And then you can plan your trip, from A to B in an efficient and environmental friendly way. Yeah.
I'm really enjoying to do this episode with you. And do you have any final word for this episode?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you for this great discussion. And, the final word is I would like to invite everyone, with ideas how we can further improve this concept and how we can contribute to Smart City Vision, to contact me or to join us, because we need to do it together. It's all about impact on the society, impact on the environment. And in the context of now the global warming, it's also very important, yes. So I would be very happy if I would have some people calling me or contacting me about this concept and helping me to move it forward.
Nice. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Smart City Navigators podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Join the conversation by leaving a comment and sharing your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, in which we'll do another deep dive into a topic related to innovation, sustainability, and new technologies. See you next time.